Good afternoon everybody, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, please smash that like button, please do subscribe. I'm here in my flat in Rochester and I'm just enjoying a lovely Good Friday by myself. And I'm quite happy on my own, and I've just prepared my lunch and I'm going to sit down and eat it. So here is my lunch. It's healthy. So we've got baby potatoes, we've got chicken and stuffing meat, and we've got veg, sweet corn, broccoli, carrots and peas. So that's a healthy lunch. Now I want a drink to go with that because I get thirsty. So I've got some innocent apple juice. And while I'm eating my lunch, I usually listen to LBC Radio. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Admiral Insurance. Rewardingly simple. T's and C's apply. Check admiral.com for details.
You probably didn't know my dad, Robert, but when he was alive, he made a will and left a gift to Macmillan Cancer Support. It means that in many ways, he still lives on. The advisor, helping a patient get a grant to pay their energy bills. Dad made that happen. The nurse, advising a mastectomy patient on what to wear to her son's wedding. That was also because of him. Almost a third of Macmillan's vital services are funded by gifts and wills from people just like my dad and you. So search Macmillan Legacy today and help them do whatever it takes.
Calling all black cab drivers. Let's talk about those quieter times when your meter is taking a little nap. And those quiet places with empty return trips. Why not consider Uber? Sign up and gain access to millions of passengers at the touch of a button. Black cabs on Uber are priced by your meter. Plus you'll receive 0% service charge for the first 6 months from launch and £400 when you sign up and take your first trip. Turn downtime into prime time. Sign up at uber.com/blackcabs. 0% service fee ends end of September. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to maximizing your savings, timing is everything. And now is the perfect time to take advantage of your full allowance with a new Cufflink ISA. You could earn up to 10.06% tax-free interest gross per annum, compounded over a 2-year term. It's fee-free with loans secured against property. Visit cufflink.com, Kuflink. Your capital is at risk. Tax rules apply to IF ISAs and may be subject to change. Cufflink is authorized and regulated by the FCA.
At Big Motoring World, we love giving you thousands of cars to choose from. But we're bigger than that, because we're big on all the things that matter to you, like our haggle and hassle-free low prices, because 90% of our cars are priced below market value. Britain, we've got you covered with honest prices you can trust. See bigmotoringworld.co.uk. We're big on what matters to you.
Big Motoring World.
In need of some midweek magic? Travel from London to Edinburgh by train from 4 hours and 20 minutes with LNER. Step aboard, relax, and daydream about the unique experiences that await in the city and beyond. From treading the ancient cobbles of the Royal Mile to standing in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle, Scotland's capital will capture your heart. Every adventure starts with a journey. Book yours at visitscotland.com/LNER.
David Lammy on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
So we're talking about children with special educational needs and the huge challenges and discrimination that they still experience. Children with disabilities, particularly visible disabilities as well, of course. I've got a few text messages here. As a parent of a child diagnosed with ASD, and probably I'm on the spectrum myself, it is any surprise that this happens given the constant awful media attention on these types of special needs are covered the way they're covered in the news. Almost weekly stories of how ADHD is overdiagnosed, the government cutting services for people with disabilities and special needs. We reap what we sow. And although things have improved, it's nowhere near enough. This country is failing in this regard, and that's from Simon. And then there's another text messages here. This is so upsetting. I have a child with special needs and my heart breaks for those parents. This is exactly why I sought a special needs school and refused to send my son to a mainstream provision. There was no way I was going to risk subjecting my beautiful, beautiful boy to anything like that. In all honesty, other children are rarely the problem and are often very accepting and inclusive of children with differences, in my experience. It's the ignorance of adults that continues to be a challenge for myself and my son, not just the general public, but the prejudices of healthcare professionals, education, all facets and institutions. And that's from Lisa. Very, very worrying. And one last one here from Sally in St Neots. This has made me really emotional. I have adopted my granddaughter. She is in a special needs class because she has issues with trauma. She has lots of friends. On Wednesday, one of the pupils handed out an invitation to a birthday party and everyone got an invite other than my granddaughter. She's 8 tomorrow and she was really upset. Sally, I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. Daz, calling in from Perth. Thank you so much for calling in, Daz. I think you've got experience of teaching in the past. What's your reaction to this story?
Well, it's absolutely heartbreaking. It brings a tear to the eye, though. It really does. I mean, as a parent, I don't have special needs children, but for your child to be excluded in any way in life is just heartbreaking. It really is. Now, I started teaching back in the 90s. I don't teach any longer. I could teach and pursue other things. But back in the 90s, I started out teaching in secondary school. I started as a teaching assistant in special educational needs. And the whole movement then was towards integration, trying to include children. And as I progressed through my career, that's what we tried to do. We tried to get children together in the classroom and accepting of each other, whatever people's needs are. Let's be honest, we all have needs, don't we? Some need maybe a little bit more and show than others. But for this to happen, what?
And Daz, actually, you remind me that whole step to inclusivity, it's about 25, 20 years old now. I've got a school in my constituency, the Willows Schools Primary School. It's wonderfully inclusive. When it's going well, it can be really, really fantastic. But you have to have a zero tolerance of any kind of discrimination. And I think, like the last text message I read out, that's as much of a challenge to other parents as it is to children, isn't it?
It is. You're absolutely right. Yeah, parents find it as hard as children sometimes. I'm sure they do. I've seen some looks on the playground when there are children with additional needs. I've never heard anything said, and I've never heard anything said by colleagues. I've worked with dozens and dozens of colleagues over the years. But we worked really hard in classrooms to create a classroom family where we all accepted each other and understood each other. And that's what it's about understanding. And here we are in the 21st century, David, and we've gone back in time. How can anybody think that would ever be acceptable? It's selection, isn't it? By excluding someone, it's selection. You're selecting those that you want in a photograph. Good grips. Absolutely outrageous. It brings it up. I've got a lump in my throat just for those parents.
Well, when you use the phrase selection, of course, in the end, it's that horrible pathway to eugenics. So it really is a very, very backward step. Daz, thank you for calling in. Very grateful. Sarah in Westminster. Sarah.
Hi there, David. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well. Sarah, what's your experience? What's your view on this terrible, terrible discriminatory act
We've
one,
actually spoken before. I spoke to you a few months ago regarding the Down syndrome issue that I had in terms of the abortion going up to full term. So people with
yes, that's
disabilities.
right, yes.
Yeah, so this whole thing in terms of discrimination, it's a lot wider in terms of society as we're looking at this particular case. I myself have a daughter with Down syndrome and also complex needs. She has medical conditions related to that. And we face discrimination every single day. And as shocking as this story is, it's just not surprising, sadly. And I think a lot of the issue is around, it's still okay to discriminate against people with disabilities as far as society is concerned. We have made a lot of progress when we look at equality, where race is concerned, where gender is concerned, where religious beliefs are concerned. But people with disabilities cross all of those demographics, and they're still at the bottom of society in terms of their progress and their equality and equity. And it's really sad, and I'll give you an example. My daughter is 4, she'll be turning 5 at the end of this year, and she'll be going into reception. So what would be a typical scenario for most families is that you'll select the school that you want your child to go to, and hopefully you'll get either the first, second or third choice. In my situation, I had to personally go and visit 15 schools. I'm very keen for my daughter to go to a mainstream school purely because I want her to have that opportunity. It may be that she will need to go to a special educational school at some point, but I don't want to look back a few years from now and say, I didn't give her that opportunity. I want her to be around other children, as important as it is for other children to be around her. And I think that's where we're going wrong.
Sarah, can I just say, I don't talk about the detail of my own family, but I have experienced special educational needs schools and mainstream schools, and actually moved one of my children back and forth. It's precisely your right to actually be able to exercise what's right for your child, and actually through the course of a child's life, those circumstances can change, but it's not easy persuading the local authority in my experience. You as a parent know that it can change, but it's very, very hard.
It is very hard, and I'll tell you something that's quite surprising. I'm actually very blessed because my local authority has been fantastic. My challenge has been the schools. So the schools that I've selected, and I've selected them for a reason. So when I go to see a school, I'm doing a thorough inspection. I'm assessing the school. I'm looking at it in terms of it, how it's located, how my daughter can maneuver around it, the classroom sizes, their resources. There's a number of things that go into an assessment. And I select a school that I think would best fit her. And every single school that I have selected has come back to say that they can't meet needs. And they don't give you a reason why they can't meet needs. They just say, we don't have these provisions. Not one of those schools have come back to say, in order for us to meet these needs, we will need to do A, B, C, and D. And they seem to forget that it is a legal right that every child in the UK has the right to go to a mainstream school irrespective of their disability. And I'm very fortunate that my local authority supported my daughter with the school that I wanted her to go to. 3 times they turned her down. They even came to the nursery to see her in her setting, and the day after they saw her, they sent another letter to say, sorry, we can't meet needs. Where the local authority then went back and basically picked apart their argument, thrown whatever clause it was at the law at them, thrown whatever clause it was in their own SEN policy at them, and basically named the school to say she's coming because you can meet her needs. And these are the kind of things that people who do have, particularly children with disabilities, face every single day. I could be pushing my daughter in the pushchair, along the street. People look at her because, it's clear that she's got a disability. You can see that she's got Down syndrome, or she's not able to speak, or she's not able to, communicate in a way that you would typically expect a child of her age to communicate.
This is the 1970s.
It's not.
I just don't understand it. I mean,
because
it's just, Sarah, it's phenomenal that this is still going on. You were going to say because, very quickly, go on, I've got to go to the break, but...
Very quickly, it's because that we haven't displayed those behaviours to young children, and that's the reason why I have created the first children's lead character and brand with a disability called Mumu and Friends. And it's not a plug, but I just urge people to go out there and look at what is happening within our own communities. Don't fear disability, teach your children about it. At the end of the day, we need to make disabilities unremarkable in society. That's
Sarah,
what I've got to say.
thank you so much for calling in. Listen to David Lammy here on LBC. The time now is 12:47.
Coming up at 1 on LBC, Sangeeta Maistra.
So guys, other people going through much the same thing. Victimisation and discrimination in 2024. See you later.